the notion that just making sure that there's a gun in the school is going to make people perfectly safe is flawed. And we actually just had, and I appreciated hearing this point, the representative from the NRA, Mr. Goins, told us that under duress, that a person is likely to miss 75% of the time. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't like the idea of somebody missing 75% of the time in a classroom full of children.
Yeah, but if they're shooting at someone that's shooting at children and there's no one shooting back, I agree. The notion of missing 3 out of 4 times is terribly scary. But what's the alternative? The alternative is someone shooting at kids with no one shooting back at them.
Well, and again...
That's not more scary to you? Is that more scary to you? Which would you prefer?
Okay, so what you're doing is just creating one particular scenario.
No. You raised the scenario. I didn't raise the scenario. You raised the scenario. Which would you prefer? An armed shooter intent on doing damage in a school, being unabated, or a concerned citizen shooting back at him and missing 3/4 of the time? Right. Which would you prefer?
That's a really great question. And
may I have an answer?
If you will give me a chance.
Go ahead.
So I definitely understand the temptation to think, especially in the wake of a horrible incident, if only someone had a gun, this could have all been prevented. I understand that. The problem with it is that you're taking a statistically improbable event, especially in comparison to the more prosaic things that are likely to happen with the gun in the school on a day-to-day basis. The accidents, the gun falling into the wrong hands, etc. So,
but you haven't answered my question. I'll give you as much time as you want, but I've yet to hear an answer to the question.
Again, so it's about balancing liabilities. What you're doing is you're just taking that gun and putting it there in that one instance.
I'm creating a very hypothetical situation, absolutely. And in my very hypothetical situation, which would you prefer? Someone intent on shooting students, A, or B, someone intent on shooting students and law-abiding citizens shooting back and missing 3/4 of the time? A or B, which would you prefer?
It would depend on the training that they had, honestly. This has an exemption for peace officers, and they receive training in how to handle these situations. I don't want someone.
We can all agree that. We can all agree that C. We can all agree that C, person attempting to shoot up a school and being responded to by a well-trained police officer, is the best of the 3 options. But in my hypothetical, it's A or B. Which would you prefer?
I don't want that gun in the hand of a teacher or.
So you prefer A?
Like I would prefer that.
You would prefer A?
I would prefer that we leave this to the people who are trained to deal with these situations, because.
Why won't you answer my question?
I think I just did.
No, I don't think you have, sir. Just which would you prefer, A or B?
Please repeat the question, and I'll make sure to answer it clearly.
Scenario A is a mad person shooting children in a classroom, unabated. Scenario B is mad person shooting children in a classroom and being shot back at by a law-abiding citizen that happened to be carrying a concealed and missing 3/4 of the time. Which would you prefer?
So I would prefer that the gun not be in the school.
Okay, but that's, sir, you'd be better off just answering the question, because.
I would prefer that they not.
Oh, you prefer A. You prefer A.
I mean, I don't.
Is that what you said? You'd prefer A?
Not being clear. I don't.
No, you're not being clear. But you can be. I can't imagine it being any clearer. Just pick one, A or B. So which would you prefer?
I would prefer that the gun not be there.
Okay, so that's A.
Yes.
Okay.